Hello everybody, GL1 here. Welcome to my online toy museum. Today I'm going to talk about snap ships, and I have several, but the one I'm going to talk about now is the Claymore. And I think it is the biggest ship they have. And when you get one of these sets, you get like a poster, kind of an action poster of different ships and things, and that actually is the Claymore right up there. And then one of the mech suits and some of the other drones. And so there's a lot of neat sets you can get, and right now they are quite inexpensive on Amazon. This I got for $13, and you could just, when you get the box, you could just tell that it's quite a hefty piece. And on the other side of the poster, there's the Claymore. You have all these other sets that you can look for and order. And what's also great about them is you can mix and match parts. So these are kind of a combination of Zoids in terms of how they go together, and then the old 1970s, early 80s toy Micronauts. And in another way, I guess you could even think Transformers, sort of the ships and things, but just really unique. What's great about them is, and Legos and stuff like that too. But what's great about these is that you can build something quite sophisticated like this very quickly. The plastic is a very heavy, dense plastic, not apt to break or crack. And when it falls, the pieces don't go that far. They're so heavy, they just don't bounce that much. So that's kind of crazy benefit, but it's true if you have hardwood floors. All right, so here is the Claymore. It's a really big ship. It comes, the box top becomes a stand, and you put the stand on diagonally, but I had an extra stand, and so I just used all three spots to act as a stand. And all of it, you have these modules. The basic piece is a square module, and then you have all these other pieces that you can put on, and it comes with a prying tool. So the pieces stick on so well, you really have to use this tool, or the piece will go, if you get it off, which is difficult sometimes, it'll go flying because of the tension you have to use to do that. But what you have is you have a box, and then you have rubber inside, or like a harder, softer plastic, kind of something that will give but also grab. And then you can see on this one it has all these different spots, so you can take your piece, in this case it's just sort of like a panel, and it has a square, and you can orient the panel at different angles so to achieve a different look of what you want. Some of the pieces also, okay, well here's another one. Okay, that has a square, but some of the pieces don't have squares. Now the ones that have a square that lock in, they're not going to be able to move. But the ones that have a round piece in there, and let me find one of those, like this one here, you can move it up and down. So let me show you why. So you see there's no square around the edge, so it doesn't lock in. You see how, it wouldn't lock into any of these slots here. And then also I installed this on the bottom, these guns, because I wanted to be able to shoot missiles coming at the ship from the side. All right, so I modified this, but the basic structure is very much the same. I didn't do any modification from here and through the chassis of the ship. But where I put the guns and some of the things I put on, I made a little modifications there. But you can make a lot of modifications with these ships, and actually, when you order the other ships, it'll have pictures of alternate modes that you can make. But the Claymore did not, because this ship actually has a very specific purpose. But before I get to that purpose, let me show you some of the nice little features on the ship. So this opens up here, and inside you have little people. And what's cool about the people is they're all different, even at this tiny scale. So this guy is kind of big. Maybe it's a robot. And he's got a waist, and you can see it turns. Now, the arms don't move, but, he's got a little stand. And so he can sit, and you can put him in the ship like that. And then here's a lady here, and she can also stand. You see, there's the joint. So they're obviously different. They didn't just make one body type, and then and then just paint them a different color. So that's the ship's controller, and this moves up. And like I said, I put these guns on. There were no guns here at all. There was nothing. Let me move that a little closer. There was nothing here before, but see, you can add whatever you want, where you want, and then it has a hinge, and you have to put that together. And there's a lot of specialized pieces for this too, which is quite an investment for the company, to make individual molds and the designs. Maybe this was all printed out by a 3D printer, so maybe they just make a graphic design and run it through there. But still, it's really cool. The different pieces, like you have these now. These can turn around, so you can pretend it's like a vent one way, and then maybe it's venting out like an engine, for stabilization, or you can just pretend it's some kind of giant laser. And then in the back, your propulsion, you have like a big giant engine, and then some other propulsion pieces for control. These pieces here, like these armored pieces, actually go to another set. They go to the mech set, but I did something different with the mech, so I wanted to use it for this ship. And the way that they fasten on is different as well. So they have these rectangular pieces here, and then that fits in. And so this piece here does fit into one of the squares, okay, you see? And then you put that in. And it kind of snaps. It's a real quiet snap. And then you can just mount that on top. All right. It has missiles that launch. Now, the original design of the ship is that it doesn't have any firing missiles, but you can install these. And I did want to put the 4 sets of missiles, and in order to do that, that made me have to move some other things. But these are push missiles, so you push them, and they don't really push easily at all. I think, it's mostly for show. I mean, you have to take it off, otherwise it's going to fly off. And then here's your missile, and you can, I guess if you'd have to really hold it and try to push it off, but you can just take it off and then pretend it's flying. And it does come with some extra missiles in case you lose them. All right, so as you can see, it's got a lot of neat features to it. It has a landing gear over here, and they move around. So when you take it off the stand, you can put these, actually you move these here and these stay, and then it'll rest on the ground. But when you put it on the stand, you have to move some of the landing gear. All right, so the front of the ship does something kind of cool. Well, not really cool, actually. All right, so this opens up. So you have these doors. And look, you even have little hydraulics in there. And then both sides of these open, but because I have the mount holding up one over here, okay, this one I'm not going to open. But you don't need to. Just one side opens. It's on a hinge. And so what they did is they only put one of these divots that goes in there, so it's easier to unlatch. And then this is like a working area over here. You can see these can turn. I'm going to show you why, though. So on this side, you have a mech suit. There's a lever here. You push the lever, and it pushes the mech suit off. What it is it's got a double little clasp. There's a clasp that holds this lever, and then a larger clasp here, and your mech suit fits up in there, and the lever pushes it off. And so here you have your little mech suit, and they come off and go on very easily. So this is like he's in a war, if you were going to use it for war, because it has missiles, and it has a knife and a gun on top. And inside here, I put this fella, so because he's wearing some kind of armor, and I figured, well, the mech suit's not real well armored, so maybe you'd want to have an armored guy in the mech suit in that. And then that closes up. But he also can be repaired himself. So here's a crane arm, and that can hold on to him. And then you can repair him with these pieces here. So let's say he got damaged and you needed to cut or you needed to add something on. But that's not the only thing you can do. You can take these arms off and then you can change his arms. So you can add, let's say the ship needs to be repaired. So you have an arm for cutting and then an arm for, clamping. Or you even have like another kind of gun you can put on for the arm. So you see, you can change that out again. Maybe upside down would be better. So like that. And then these are rockets. Put that there. Okay, so now he's, another kind of war mech suit. All right. So that's kind of cool. And then you can put all these pieces back. But that's not all. There's more to this ship. And then this can rotate too. So you can turn that all around. All right, so here we go. So can you look down in there? Down in here, right? So this opens up. And then you have a lever on the back of the ship here, okay, like a big lever, and then that pushes off and that drops your mech, and now you have another mech here. Now this is a big war mech, so then that opens up like that, and you have a gun underneath that's like has a turret, and then guns on the sides. They also rotate like anti-aircraft or spacecraft, and so you can see the size comparison. And then inside here, you have another guy. So you got that guy in there. Again, another, detailed torso and legs, different than the other. You can twist. Let's see. We'll compare him to the other guy here. So again, you can see it's not the same mold because this one has these shoulders, different chest, different head. So really neat, the details, right, that they put in there. All right. And if they come apart, sometimes their torsos come off that little joint, but they just snap right back on. All right. So just great. So the Claymore is quite a warship, in that, it has all kinds of missiles and lasers and things. You can pretend, I don't know, that this is some kind of super lasers here, that it looks like something that would spark from the side and then, go, like something like that. And it also has, ground assault capability, right, with its mechs. And they can repair the ship while flying, or in this case, this guy can stand up here, and then this guy could stand here. And, in space, there's no wind resistance. So let's say they had magnetic boots or something to clamp on, and just for inertia purposes, and they could stand there and they could, fly through space even with the mechs on. They just can't get moved here on Earth that way. All right, so I'm going to just show you real quick through the instructions. I hope I've enthused you with these things, because it's just a fantastic setup. I remember seeing these in Target, and I was like, look at that. They're trying something new, some new kind of toy. But I didn't get any, and I should have. But in a way, I'm glad I didn't, because they're a lot less expensive now, because nobody really appreciated them at the time. But you can see how all the pieces go together and see how the instructions are. And the instructions are so easy to follow. They really go out of their way to make sure that, like they put a check mark, like that's the way you want the triangles upright, to make sure that you don't put things the wrong way. And what I always do with any building set is I build what they say first, and then I change it. So you can see you're building all this housing, and this is a large specialized piece, you see, and that's what houses in here, the big mech in here. So it's really hard to maybe, well, I guess you could take it apart, but then you still would have to, you know, if you want to make a ship that maybe doesn't house the mechs or does something different, you could always, you know, orient them closer together or make them into some kind of like wing attachment or something, you know. But if you want it to work like the ship that it's meant, you know, a mech drop and everything, repair and warship, I think this is really a great design. And then to just, you know, change the accoutrements of weaponry on here is, you know, quite a lot of fun. But, you know, easy to change, easy to put back. It's just really great. So I hope you enjoy that. I have other snap ships I'm going to show you. And I've modified a couple others, and I'll show you the instructions for those. So thanks for watching. I look forward to talking to you again. Take care.